Hey coin collectors, welcome to the DC Coin World International coin channel. Today we're going to talk about the 1959 Lincoln penny. We have the Denver version here and the Philadelphia version here. No mint mark on the Phillies from 1959, so it'll always be blank down here underneath the date. There's a D for the Denver mint. 1959 was a special year for the Lincoln penny in a number of ways, and we're going to talk about the ways that it was special and show you some other coins and have you try to guess at why the 1959 Lincoln penny was special. And the question is, we have a 1909 penny here, a 1959 penny here, and a 2009 penny here. What do these three dates have to do with President Abraham Lincoln? All right, so let's talk about that. 1909, we know that's when the first Lincoln penny came out. That's the one that has a couple different versions. Sometimes it has the initials on the back, right here, VDB. See that? That's for Victor David Brenner, the engraver, the back of this coin. In 1909, they put these initials on some of the coins, and you see it's that wheat ear reverse coin, or 1 cent coin that we have here. So this is 1909, and then this one here is 1959. We're going to look at today. This is 1959 Denver, but when we flip this one over, we notice there's a difference. 1959, the first year of the Lincoln Memorial reverse cents. And then we have a 2009 Lincoln penny. And this again is a 2009 Denver penny. We flip this one over, we see that it's one of the Life of Lincoln pennies. This is the year after they made the last Lincoln Memorial. So they made the last Lincoln Memorial in 2008. 2009, they came out with the Life of Lincoln pennies. And then in 2010, they moved to a totally different reverse, this reverse right here, the Shield reverse, which we currently have. Well, we kind of currently have. They're not supposed to be making any more pennies, though, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, so what do these three dates have in common? Well, the answer is that these all have something to do with Lincoln's birth date. President Abraham Lincoln was born in 1809. The first Lincoln penny came out in 1909, 100 years after his birth. The Memorial reverse penny, this one, came out in 1959, 150 years after his birth, or the sesquicentennial of his birth. And then in 2009, the Life of Lincoln pennies came out, and those were on the 200th anniversary of his birth. So these three coins all have something to do with the year that Lincoln was born in. 1959, they decided to change from the Lincoln Wheat Ears cent to the Lincoln Memorial cent to further honor Lincoln. This is a Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. If you tip it just right, you can see the figure of Lincoln way down there in the center. On this one, it's not very good, but there's Lincoln down in the center, sitting on a chair of Georgia marble. And we can see, it says United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum here, 1 cent here. And way, way over to the side, we see the initial of the engraver of the back of this coin, and that's FG for Frank Gasparo. Now remember, this was a VDB coin, Victor David Brenner. Well, Victor David Brenner's initials are still on this coin, but they remain on the front, and they're way down in here. You can just barely see them. There's a V, a D, and a B right under Lincoln's shoulder right down there. So Victor David Brenner did the front, but in 1959, Frank Gasparo's reverse Lincoln Memorial came about. Now this coin came in 3 different versions. It came in the Denver version, which we have right here, and you can see that because it has a D on it. At the Denver Mint, they made 1.3 billion pennies. They were really using pennies a lot in 1959. In fact, penny might buy you something, certainly a piece of candy or two. At the Denver Mint, they made, the auction record is about $7,000 for one of these, for a Mint State 68 red. This coin is neither a Mint State 68 nor a red penny, but the red pennies, you can tell, they just look tremendously different than the other pennies. This coin right here is probably worth about 5 to 10 cents. If you get this up to a Mint State 65, it's worth about $18. 95% copper, 5% tin or zinc. And on the back, of course, we have the Lincoln Memorial. Now, they also made this coin at the Philadelphia Mint. You can see the Philadelphia Mint, and the way you know it's Philly is they don't put a mint mark underneath on the back. So this was made at the Philadelphia Mint, where they made 610 million pennies. The Mint State 65 at Philadelphia is worth $18. A Mint State 68 is worth $3,000+, somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 probably. Again, these will all have the same reverse on them if they're from 1959, the memorial reverse. And this coin also has some double die obverses on it and some messy B's. And this is one of those messy B's where it just got a little doubled up on the left side of the B. Unfortunately, there's an extra line here, but unfortunately this one's in such bad condition that this might be worth, a quarter or so just because it has that little bit of a line, but it isn't really a true double die obverse on here. And finally, they made these at the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark, but they made a proof version of the coin, and that's right here. And you can actually see Lincoln in this one. Way down in the center, there's Abraham Lincoln sitting at the Lincoln Memorial, and this, of course, on his this is a proof coin from the 150th anniversary of his birth. The proof coins can be worth a lot of money. If you can get this into a proof 69, it can be worth $21,500. They found 3 of them so far. And even a proof 65 is worth $70. So, and they are worth that because the Heritage Auction actually sold one for close to $21,000. So, this was the first year of the Lincoln Memorial. In 2009, they came out with a Life of Lincoln pennies. This was the first one, the log cabin in Kentucky that he was born in. The second one was the formative years one, where you can see him splitting a log and reading a book. The third year was the legislative years, and that's in Springfield, Illinois, at the Illinois State Capitol. And the fourth Life of Lincoln reverse is the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. They were constructing that during Lincoln's term of office. And again, these are all 2009 coins. And now we've gone to the 1 cent shield reverse, which you see right here. And this is a pretty good, shiny coin, not worth much. You can still see the VDB way down underneath Lincoln right there on the shield reverse. But when we get to the shield reverse, we see that we have 2 more initials on the back, LB and JFH, and they're the engraver designers of the shield reverse for the Lincoln cent. And as many of you know, we are not going to have that Lincoln cent for much longer. They're going to stop making them just like Canada did. We will not be using the pennies once these current pennies run out. And the reason for that is that these pennies cost about 3.5 to 4 cents to produce. They actually have more than a penny's worth of copper in them, and the U.S. government is going to quit being the loss leader on these and quit making pennies this year, in the year 2025. All right, that's all we have today from the DC Coin World International coin channel on the 1959 Lincoln penny. Look for yours out there. Hopefully you can find this one. You still can get it in your change a lot. If you like these videos, we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you have in the comment section.